Welcome back to Exposed. We're gonna continue our discussion on tattoos and hygiene and whatsoever. Jessica.
So I wanted to ask you guys, like, how do you think people perceive, well, I'm going to say us, or people like us who, I guess, like certain forms of body modification?
Oh, it's becoming like way more popular. Popular, yeah, that's the word. I was gonna say popularized. That's not a real word though. Yeah, it's way more popular now. I mean, like, the '90s, people were kind of getting like a little bit of tattoos, going crazy. Maybe they have like a half sleeve, but they'd be able to cover that up. But now you see them everywhere, which is kind of the reason why I got it.
Well, it was kind of seen as like before, like a sign of rebellion, or like I'm bad because I got a tattoo, or like I'm part of the Hells Angels because I got my tattoo here.
What you know about Harley Davidson?
or like it was a prison thing, you know?
Prison or sailor, or well, you're not even allowed tattoos in the military. If you already have them, you can't get in unless they're hideable, like so. Like so. Like so.
Yeah, so you can...
I can if I wanted to, but I know people that have like behind their ear, they have their knuckles done, they have their hands, they have the back of their neck. Like, I know people that wouldn't be allowed into it. But yeah, it was perceived before that as like, yeah, prison, military, and can I say bad assery? Is that a real thing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even before that though, right? It was like a cultural thing.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of indigenous cultures from around the world that would get tattoos for different things, like the Maori tribals, which are
the famous
ridiculous,
ones.
Or like the what do you call it? The Yakuza tattoos from Japan.
The full
from
body,
neck down all the way.
All the way.
So they wear bodysuits, and you're like, you would never know that there's tattoos under there.
Mm-hmm.
But even though it's, I guess, more popular, and you see people of all ages and different, I guess, personalities, like you can't say like a person that has a lot of tattoos like acts this way or that way, because it's not true. But I guess, do you still feel like judged sometimes by like other people?
Yeah, still do. Especially if I'm wearing a wife beater like I am now, and like I go somewhere, like if I go to a bar in the summer with a wife beater on, you kind of get more looks and stares. But like,
it might depend on the bar too, right?
Yeah, especially
because there's some bars where like you walk in and everybody looks like you, and then there's some bars where everybody's looking at you.
Like if I go to McLean's downtown, there's going to be people looking at me. But if I go to like Foof's or Hatter's or something
everyone
like that,
like
everyone has tattoos there.
I guess, what would you say to people that, I guess, give you a funny look or don't approve of getting tattoos? Because there's still a lot of people who are both I'm not saying that these are just older people that are against it. Like, there are younger people who wouldn't like approve.
Yeah, but well, I mean, there's not that many younger people that would be against it. I think the older people are a bit more, like afraid of it. I guess intimidated. I guess because I mean, when they see that, they kind of go back to what it used to be, like only crazy ex-military dudes and convicts and stuff.
Well, that's when you see young guys with like their knuckle tattoos now, and you're like, oh my god, only prisoners get knuckle tattoos, and start getting scared, like what's going on? Like, I mean, you know what though? I think that there's still a stigma behind tattoos. Like if you see a lot, because it is intimidating.
It's scary.
It's because you don't know people, and you don't know who they are and what they're about and why they're covered in tattoos. So that's a little scary. I'm not afraid of Hogan though.
No. Most people aren't. Well, when they talk to me, they're not. When they see me sometimes.
That's what, like, I find my boyfriend can look, like, intimidating when you don't know him, and he has just that face where it's like, I look like I'm pissed off and I'm walking and whatever, and then you see him, like, cuddling with the dog at home, or, like...
Called out. Anyways, what about hygiene?
I think people should really pay attention to hygiene when they're doing stuff like this. I mean, you should go to a parlor that's respected, and it doesn't mean that if it's expensive, it's respected. But I mean, I don't know if anyone watched LA Inc. and the like Kat Von D's tattoo parlor. There's one episode where her like cat was walking around in the scene, and I think that's just kind of gross. Like, I mean, you have like getting a tattoo is like, and even a piercing, it's a wound. Yeah. And it's like susceptible to infection and stuff like that, and you just don't want that to happen.
Yeah. In Canada, they're a bit more strict on those sort of things. They don't actually have regulations in Quebec. When you want to get a license to open up a tattoo shop, it's actually still classified under a salon. So technically it's hair stuff, but I mean most of the guys in Canada are a lot more like anal about that sort of thing. They'll cover everything up. They'll put the little piece of plastic over the trip cord and like cover up their hands and everything. Make sure they don't touch anything. They'll ask you to grab something so that they don't have to touch it. Yeah. But my buddy the guy that does my tattoos, he said he's been to a bunch of conventions, and like he sees the guys from the States and they're like talking on their cell phone with no gloves on, and they're like doing a tattoo at the same time, or they're like grabbing stuff over here while they're trying to do a tattoo, or like they don't have a cord over a piece of plastic over their cord. I mean, you really have to look into infections because.
And it's not even that, like blood diseases and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot, and there's all kinds of, even because we live right next to Montreal, right? So there's all kinds of parlors and tattoos, and there's so many different places that you could choose from, and you can tell sometimes. Like there's the really sketchy ones, and there's the ones that people.
The easiest way to tell is you go to the bathroom first. If the bathroom is sparkle, you are good. But I mean, like, if they don't even take that into considerations, you should probably bail and find somewhere else.
But also, when like, if you're going for your first tattoo and you're like, you want to find a place, I guess an easy way to tell or not is when you're going through the process, like your artist should tell you like this is what's gonna happen and this is what I do, and then I throw this out afterwards and like take you through the motions.
When I got my lip pierced, like I went to a parlor on Ontario Street, and it was a place where my friends had been before, and the girl brought me downstairs and said that they didn't want anybody else in the room because they didn't want it to be contaminated, which is kind of, compared to some other places, like that was extreme, but she opened everything up for me and showed me, this is what I'm using, and it was really clean and everything was really good about it. So it makes you feel safer getting it done too. It's not even just a matter of whether it's okay or not, but you feel better when you know that people are taking care of you.
And also, like, you always usually have to fill out some sort of survey beforehand. Yeah. And if they don't care about you and like don't ask questions, like, it's a little bit of a sign, like, you should get out of, Bob's tattoo parlor in his basement.
Well, it's always good if you ask questions, too. I mean, if you're going in, like, with guns blaring, like, yeah, what's up? How does this work? They have to answer. If not, then they're just being stupid, and you shouldn't even be dealing with those peeps.
Well, I guess for me, like, that's a very important aspect of it, because, I mean, I don't want to get, like, gangrene, or, like, it's just, yeah. Anyway, but what do you think about taking the time into like consideration about your tattoo or piercing, or like actually, like, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, I know what you mean. A couple of my tattoos I got really quickly. I was just like, yeah, I want that, give it to me now. And like this one, everyone hates it, but I think it's cool. It's funky. Nobody else is ever going to have something like that. It's one of a kind thing. It's like a collector's piece, which technically is what you're doing. You're collecting art from an artist. It just so happens to be on your skin.
Well, one thing that I always found unattractive in people that pick tattoos is if they pick off the wall.
Yeah.
I've seen people do it too. They say, I want that heart and I want it here. And it, like, probably someone else already has it if it's up on the wall. Like,
exactly.
Or like there's thousands of people that have it.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, it's the same way when like people try to like take, like, they're like, oh, I saw a tattoo on someone, I want that. Like, I don't know if you ever like, well, I have flowers on my rib cage and whatever, I designed it myself. But when I was looking for inspiration, like just Googling like flowers and stuff like that, and there's a couple of them where it's the same tattoo on like multiple women of like their rib cage, and it's just like, I mean, I guess does that have specific meaning to you, or like,
if you know what though, if it does, like if you really see something and it really invokes that feeling in you, like you really want it, then I guess that's okay. But I mean, if you want to be original, it's more fun to have something that's been designed for you and has actual meaning for you. Yeah. It's gonna be on you forever.
What do you think about all these townie tattoos?
Oh. Yeah, I got nothing to say about that.
I don't mean to be like disrespectful, because obviously like people from Ganawage are proud to be from Ganawage, or proud to be Mohawk, and they want to put it on their body, but sometimes there's a bit of unoriginality, and it's like
when it comes to that, I guess just if it really means something to you, then good, you know, do it. That's how I feel about it, essentially, at the end of the day.
Amen.
Yeah.
Nicely said.
Well, with that, we'll be right back after the break.